Hi Ben, good to see you today. Just want to cover a couple of points we discussed during today's lesson. For your first lesson we did go over quite a few things. The first thing that we talked about was the grip, or your left hand grip in particular, saying that it was just a little bit weak or a little bit too far around to the left. So ideally what we want to do with that is just turn it around to the right just a little bit more, so you're able to see at least 2.5 knuckles when you look down in your setup position. That's just going to put you into a much more neutral position, helping with the rotation and the squaring off of that club face through impact. The other area that we discussed was the club face itself for the address. You can just see from this video here, which is the one we took early on the left hand side, that your club face just slightly opens your target, aiming there just a little bit to the right of your target. So we just need that squaring up a little bit more, again, which is just going to help to hit the ball more straight, or a lot straighter towards your target. And just looking at your setup position again there, we just need your hands to be a little bit more forwards if we can. Just try and get them a little bit more on the inside of your left thigh, or just slightly in front of that golf ball. Also looking at the video we took on the right hand side, which was what we did later on in this setup, we're just looking at your posture position. Weight position here early on was 50-50, and we just got you later on to favour your left hand side a little bit more with your setup position. So you've got about 60% of your weight on your left hand side in that setup position, which again just moves your body slightly to the left, just to try and get you a little bit more over the top of the golf ball, or just slightly in front of the golf ball with your upper centre. So the next thing we really talked about was the golf swing itself, and the amount of movement you did during your backswing, which again was affecting the consistency of the shots that you hit. So if we have a quick look at the golf swing here on the left, so this is one we took early on. You see there the amount of movement you've had to the right hand side during the backswing, and again, as we mentioned, it's not a problem providing you have the correcting moves to get back into position to hit the shot. Now as we start the downswing, see there you've just not had adequate movement over back to the left hand side to get you in position, so now you're behind the golf ball trying to hit it up into the air, so you're catching the ball on the upswing and occasionally hitting it a little bit thin or catching the ground first. So we got you to later on to try and stay a little bit more centred during your backswing. So ideally now a bit later on we were trying to keep your head and your body a little bit more centred during the backswing itself. Again, the top of your swing you can see just drifted a little bit to the right, but nowhere near as much as what you did earlier on in the session. Now from that position you found it much easier to swing through the golf ball, get back into a position which would allow you to strike the golf ball a lot more consistently. Again, they're still a little bit behind the line, again, but much better, and it's something we can work on in the future. Also, the other thing that we discussed was the amount of rotation you had with your forearms. We can see just on the video in the left hand side, as your club's coming into the golf ball, club face always comes in from an open position because the forearms rotate on the backswing. We just need to get those forearms rotating through impact to get the club face back to square position, and then the rotation continues into that follow through to allow the club face to close and to keep the ball straight towards your target. Just as we mentioned, your club face comes in slightly open. The club face, when you come to the golf ball, not quite had the rotation that we need to square that club face off, and again the ball starts off to the right hand side, and because you've not got the rotation it's not able to come back, so it stays out there to the right and potentially does fade off a little bit to the right as well because the club face is slightly open to that swing path. So again, we gave you a few drills to work on. The first one really was maintaining that centeredness throughout the swing, mainly in your backswing. So there we said about putting your head against the wall, because it's fixed in a certain point, your body can't sway side to side, and also trying to stay a little bit more over the top of the golf ball when you swing or when you're doing your practice sessions. Also, we gave you a drill with your feet together. Now, with your feet together, you're able to swing without swaying, because if you did sway, you would actually fall over. So that's allowing you to rotate your body, staying more centred during the goal swing and maintaining balance. Also, we gave you a little drill to do at the same time, which was working on the full rotation of your forearms throughout the golf swing. And again, trying to exaggerate that rotation so you're hitting the ball with a slight draw to the left of your target rather than straight at it. So, if you continue working with those drills, if you've got any problems, just give me a call. But I look forward to seeing you again very soon.